On September 13, 2005, patch 1.7 went live and gave us the Zul'Gurub raid and a Wrathy Basin battleground. What it also gave us was the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza event, which means we should see it implemented in Phase 4. Hello everyone, my name is Icosial, and today I'm going to show you what the Fishing Extravaganza is, why you should compete in it, and how you can best improve your chances of taking the top prize. Also known as the Booty Bay Fishing Tournament, the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza is an event that takes place in the Stranglethorn Vale Zone every Sunday afternoon from 1400 to 1600. The morning of the event, there are goblins spreading the word of the tournament by handing out flyers in both Ironforge and Orgrimmar, but they are not needed to actually compete in the tournament. There are no quests tied to the event, and there is no level requirement in order to compete. Theoretically, you can be level 5 and take part in the event, but you might find it difficult to catch any fish due to hungry mobs and too low of a fishing skill. When the tournament begins, there will be a zone-wide announcement from Wriggle Bassbait in your chat box. At that time, pools called Schools of Tasty Fish will appear all along the coast of Stranglethorn Vale. You will not find any pools of tasty fish around Jaguaro Isle or in inland lakes and rivers. I believe Booty Bay has 1 or 2 locations where a pool might spawn, but it's so far from any other spawns that it's not a good idea to attempt to get it. Each pool will yield between 4 and 5 fish, but be aware that approximately 20% of the fish you catch might be a non-contest fish, such as firefin snapper, oily blackmouth, stone scale eel, strangle kelp, or one of the tournament rare fish, which I will talk about a bit later. Your goal is to catch 40 speckled tasty fish, and be the first to turn them in to Wriggle Bassbait, who is found near the center of Booty Bay, right near the inn. The speckled tasty fish is bound to you, so nobody will be able to trade to you theirs. They will also go bad after 4 hours in your inventory, so you won't be able to keep them for the next week. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, let's dive into more of the details of the tournament. So now, why should you compete in the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza? Well, if you don't care about fishing, there's probably not many reasons, but for those of you that do, there are some great incentives. Before the extravaganza went live, there was only one way to be able to get your fishing skill to the coveted 425 number. That was to be a Horde player with Nat Pagel's Extreme Angler FC 5000 fishing pole and an attached aquadynamic fish attractor. If you were Alliance, the best you could hope for was a skill of 420, so you would still lose fish occasionally when fishing in high-level zones. The items you could win in this tournament would change all of that. Now, there can be one winner only, and that's regardless of faction. That means if an Alliance player wins, there will be no Horde winner for that week. The winner of the tournament will get their choice of 2 prizes, which is the Arcanite fishing pole or the hook of the Master Angler trinket. The Arcanite fishing pole is the best fishing pole available, and was so for several expansions. It gives a plus 35 bonus to your fishing skill, but it does require a minimum fishing skill of 300 to use. The hook of the Master Angler is a fun trinket that turns you into a giant fish and allows you to breathe underwater while also increasing your swim speed. You can only choose one prize, so if you want both items, you will have to win the contest a second time. Because of that reason, I highly suggest you choose the Arcanite fishing pole should you be lucky enough to win. Standing next to Wriggle Bassbait is the Fishbot 5000, and it will award some fishing items for any rare tournament fish that you may have caught. This is why even after a winner has been announced that you will want to continue fishing for these rare fish, and turn any that you catch to the Fishbot 5000. The 3 rare fish are Brownell's Blue Striped Racer, which will reward you Nat Pagel's Extreme Angling Boots, the Desian Queenfish, which rewards you the High Testaturnium fishing line, which acts as a permanent enchantment on your fishing pole. Lastly, and probably the most sought after rare fish, is the Kiefer's Angelfish, which rewards the Lucky Fishing Hat. These all give a bonus plus 5 to your fishing skill to help you reach that 425 number by simply using a cheaper and more available lure. While you're fishing for those rare tournament fish, you're going to inevitably catch a ton of speckled tasty fish, and this is how you can earn a bit of gold. Also standing next to Wriggle Bass Bait is the Goblin Jang, and Jang will pay you 23 silver for every batch of 5 speckled tasty fish. If memory serves correctly, which sometimes it doesn't, both Jang and the Fishbot 5000 will remain an hour after the tournament ends, so make sure you turn in all your speckled tasty fish for the gold before she disappears and leaves you with bags full of spoiled tasty fish. Thankfully, the rare fish don't spoil, so if you miss turning them in to the Fishbot 5000, you'll just have to wait another week to claim your reward. Now let's talk about how to increase your chances of winning. First of all, you must understand that there is a large amount of luck when it comes to winning this thing, because even if you do everything right, there still might be someone who just got luckier than you. That being said, there are several things that you can do that will greatly increase your chances of claiming the top prize, and they all revolve around 2 key strategies. That's fishing where other competitors are not, and moving as fast as possible between pools of tasty fish. First and foremost, the minimum fishing skill that you will need in order to catch any speckled tasty fish is 130, but since this is a tournament where speed is priority, you will want a fishing skill of at least 225 in order to not lose any fish. Don't rely on a lure to reach a skill of 225 because needing to attach another lure mid-tournament is only going to slow you down. Also be sure to keybind your fishing ability and your mount, so you can be that split second faster between casts, catches, and pools. Getting to the next pool as quickly as you can is your ultimate priority, and so we need to look at ways we can speed up. For those of you using a mount, there are 3 items you'll want to use, and that's mithril spurs for your boots, the riding skill enchant for your gloves, and the ever so popular carrot on a stick trinket from the Gazrila quest in Zul'Gurub. If you don't want to use these on your raiding or PvP gear, you can always just pick up some uncommon items to put them on specifically for the tournament. If you don't have a mount, you can also use the minor speed enchant for boots, swiftness potions, or even a swim speed potion to get to your next pool, but all those potions might be a bit costly. Of course, some classes have their own abilities that speed them up, such as Blink, Aspect of the Cheetah, Feline Swiftness, and Sprint. It's important to know that the schools of tasty fish respawn rather quickly, so if you happen to find a spot where not many competitors are, you'll want to keep moving back and forth between the same 5 or 6 pools. By continuing in one direction, you'll end up running into more competitors, and with the time it takes to fish from 5 or 6 pools, it's almost guaranteed the pools you fished from behind you have already begun to respawn. Getting a lockdown on that many pools is a tremendous advantage. Another strategy that's actually quite sneaky is having a fishing buddy that acts like he or she is competing in the tournament next to you, but isn't actually catching any fish from the pool you're actively fishing in. This makes it look like to other competitors that the pool is being overfished, and so they move on to the next one. After the 3rd or 4th catch, your fishing buddy moves ahead to the next pool and clears out any mobs that may get too close and attack you, or act like they're already fishing in that pool to claim it until you get there. On PvP servers, this tactic can step up a notch as your fishing buddy might elect to begin attacking competitors from the opposing faction. It was not uncommon to see entire guilds roaming the coastline and laying waste to competitors so that their own will have a better shot of winning. This has on many occasions blown up into massive wars that Stranglethorn Vietnam is already known for. If you're competing in the tournament, I wouldn't suggest you attack any opposing player, as it will only serve to slow you down and put a very big target on your back. One thing that I've picked up on and will be doing for the tournament is turning the graphics up to the highest setting. That's because the pools are much clearer to see versus the classic graphics. Here's a picture of a pool on classic graphics, and here's the same pool on the highest setting. This is important because you can better see the next pool from a greater distance, but also so you can better see the pool's edge. The bauble in this image is actually inside the pool, and will catch a tasty fish. This is much more difficult to see on the classic settings, and you might accidentally recast thinking it's outside and waste time when you didn't have to. If your bauble is anywhere outside of that distance, you won't catch any tasty fish. Lastly, it's important to understand where your bauble is most likely to land. In this cheap overlay, you can see the areas your bauble can potentially land, and the center area is where it will most often be, so you want to be at a distance that has that central radius over the pool. This is where a lot of luck takes place, because sometimes you can get a string of casts that are under or overshooting the pool. It's just bad luck, so if this is happening, just remain calm and recast as quickly as you can, but not too quickly that you end up canceling a good cast. There are also some pools that are so close to the shore that you'll actually want to fish them from the side rather than directly from the coast, where you might get a lot of no-water errors. There's a common saying in auto racing that slow is fast, and that's also true in many cases of this tournament. Remember that if you put all of this together to perfection, that it still might not be your day to win. There are a lot of people competing, and many of them can possibly be getting luckier than you, but don't worry. Keep competing and keep practicing, and I promise you'll find yourself winning the grand prize. Good luck, happy fishing, and may the fish bite quickly for you. Thank you very much for watching this guide for the Stranglethorn Fishing Extravaganza. If you enjoyed this guide, please give it a like, subscribe, and click on the bell to be notified of new content I create for Classic WoW. You can also follow me on Twitter at @ClassicWoW, as well as catch some of my weekend streams for a more casual approach of the game on either my YouTube channel or Twitch, and the links for those are in the video description. For some of my other content, you can click on any of these links here. Thank you again for watching, and remember that it's perfectly fine to listen to music while you're fishing, but just make sure that it's something catchy.